The attic was full of rat poo, collapsing insulation, and zero lighting. And we had to crawl in. Well, Ali had to.
Right, this is hard work.
Why? Because the bathroom's right below and we are wiring it ourselves. Are we electricians? No. Have you ever done this before? Also no. Can we afford to pay someone? Definitely not. But are we giving it a go as DIYers? Absolutely, because this whole channel is about figuring it out as we go. So here we are. In the last 2 episodes, we're starting what's probably the biggest project in our 80s house, renovating the main bathroom. We pulled out all cupboards, got rid of the redundant chimney breast and repaired some floor joists. But before we can go any further, we've got to sort the electrics, which means clearing the attic, running new wiring and installing bathroom spotlights from scratch. Stick around till the end. We'll show you exactly how much we saved doing it ourselves.
Right, so I've got to remember that I haven't turned off the electric yet because I'm hoovering. So hopefully I won't just forget that and be like, oh, I'll just start touching these wires and moving them around. Otherwise no more build and bloom. It's just bloom.
Right, today I'm going to have the brilliantly fun job of going up in the attic and fitting LED spotlights. I've got these off Screwfix. They are brushed stainless steel, 4.6 watts and 490 lumens, and they're 4K. They are dimmable as well. We're not going to have a dimmer switch on it, but we could if they're too bright. They're IP65 rated, so that means that they are suitable for all zones in the bathroom. So basically we want one to be in the shower cubicle, and then the other 4 to be on the main bathroom area. It's hard to find genuine brush stainless finish. It's all just brushed chrome. And fitting kit as well, fitting block is nice because it's, you know, an isolated box here, and then you've got your 3 connections. Essentially I want to just wire all 4 of these with the same length of wire that will then join a central junction box in the middle of the room, and from then we can switch it off and on and power it. Right, so this is the tools for the job. Hammer, obviously everyone should have one of these. This is for hammering in the clips that are going to keep the cables nice and neat and tidy out of the way. Chisel bits, I got this set. It's got varying sizes inside it. I'm going to be using something like this, 18, to drill a hole in the joists and run the cables through them. It's a really good set. Electric screwdriver or drill, again, attach this to it. Attach your screwdriver bits to it. Saves you a lot of work, a lot of hassle. Really good, Bosch is a good brand. Screwdriver, again, everyone should have one of these. When you can't use this, you need something like this. Wire cutters, as the name would suggest, they cut wire. You want really good ones. Don't get something cheap because it just won't last. And then finally, wire strippers. I like this style. They're really nice to slide wires in and just remove the sheathing. You get a lot of control, and you can even crimp cables at the end here. That's the tools. Welcome to my designer bathroom. Do you like it? I called MTV Cribs, but they said it's too good. They don't want to flex on people, so it's not going to be on the show. So these are the 4 cutouts already that the previous owner did for his spotlights, his 12 volt spotlights that were turning off and on all the time due to overheating.
Woo! Reliable house.
Yeah, why does it do that? Nothing changed, I don't understand. So I'm going to use the same poles. Luckily these ones took a 75mm cut, which is perfect. I've already stuck one in there just to see how it looks. So I plan to have the junction box probably in the middle, but I am going to do it in a nice clean way. I'm not just going to run them, you know, straight. I'm going to tee them off towards each other, nail it to the joists using the little clips, and then I'm going to drill the joists and go through into this central area here where I'll run the box. We're going to cut the cables, and then we are going to splice them in to this switch that we did the other day. So this switch, this line, which is currently curled up on the floor, will go all the way up here, following these other ones, and then they'll all go into the attic above. First time I've done this, wish me luck. I've got a respirator, I've got eye goggles, I've got plastic gloves and the full suit, because this is fiberglass insulation and it's disgusting, it's horrible. And to add to the enjoyment of the job, I'm going to be taking up the vacuum cleaner and I'm going to be hoovering up the massive amount of rat poo.
Look at this.
Oh my god. Wow.
Look at the teeth on it.
Then I'm going to be taking up, there's some older insulation up there, some really old yellowy stuff. I'm going to be bagging all of that up. Then I'm going to do the wiring. Like I said, screw the joists, you know, make it clean. Everything I do, I try to do cleanly, just like here. You see how I've basically drilled the joist. I don't like notching it. The reason why is because if you come to add the plasterboard later on and you've notched the joists, then, you know, if you hammer a nail in or use a nail gun, and it's more likely to just collide with the cable. Hello. So I'm going to be fitting these spotlights. We've got one up there already, and I'm going to do the other three. I need to pull these little legs back. Okay, done. Right, so it's worth pointing out, just in case you don't know, that the IP65 part is this basic gasket here. So from the lower section down is IP65, and then this section is not. I can't replace the bulb when this thing fails. So when this fails, it's game over. I'll post that up, bend these legs back, stick one in, bend the other one in. Done. I'm going to leave enough spare cable so that when we come to decorate the room, I can just disconnect them, let them dangle, and paint around it. Now comes the hard part. Whoa, I really hate that attic.
So much poo. Insane amount of poo. First job is just a hoover. Just throw that over there. Maggots as well. Now I've got to struggle. 6'1", 110 kilo guy. Oh my god. This is why I was putting off coming up here. This is hell. It's literal hell. This is where that wasp's nest was.
Oh my god.
Some sort of hornet or wasp's nest. It was just in the insulation. Look at all this. There's a moth up here. This is vile. I cannot sleep knowing this is up here, you know. So I just need to clean it all out. So the plan is to get rid of all this yellow insulation, which is sodden, suck up as much shit as possible, and then do the wiring and lay the brown insulation back, which is the newer stuff. So we'll pick up this insulation here. This is absolutely caked in disgustingness. I don't know what these are. They're very round, like they're quite a good circle. There's quite a few of them, but they're massive. Like, are these, maybe this is rat poo and this is mouse poo? But there's so much of this, what I assume is mouse poo. I mean, look at it all. There's loads of these things. I thought they were wings, but I don't know, there's loads of them, look. You see? Oh, it's hard to breathe. This is definitely not a job for Daniela. I don't think she would enjoy being up here. Fine, so I'm going to bag up this lot Then I'm going to seal this bag up and try and make my way out with it. What's that? It's unbearably hot. I don't even want to estimate the temperature, but it's not pleasant. Obviously I'm handling insulation like mad, right? I'm literally ripping it up, so this is the worst possible thing you should be doing in the attic, which is why I'm wearing this. Found a mouse skull. I should point out that this is just the outside light, alright? So this is not live or anything. I know that because I cut it off because it was in the way. Plus we're going to replace it. So that's just an outside light. So don't panic yourself thinking that I'm risking my life. Well, I probably am, but not at the moment with this cable, alright? Okie dokie. Ideally roll it up. This would seriously lower your life expectancy if you did this without a mask. That is a lot of poo. Alright, this is hard work. It's insanely hot. I'm dripping. See the hanging ball? That's a hornet's nest. Right, we're back in the attic. It's a new day. I finished up yesterday. It was just too hot, and the head torch. Actually, I'll tell you a story. So basically, I was up here. It was 10 o'clock at night. Obviously, all the electric's off because, you know, I'm working with electric, so there was no lights on outside. Plus, it was hot up in the room, and it was pretty unbearable. Pitch black, and the head torch just dies. So I think, oh, that's a shame. And then I think to myself, okay, well, I actually got no light to get down. I've got to crawl all the way through this space that I'm in for the bathroom, and then I've got to go all the way down the main loft section and down the stairs. So I was thinking, this is going to be a nightmare. So I was clicking the head torch on, and it was just flashing for a second, off, flashing for a second, off. I thought, oh my god, I'm screwed. And then I remembered that the drill has a light, so I basically crawled out of here using the drill as my light, you know, holding it down so it was just spinning and illuminating. So yeah, it's a funny little story. So I've basically wired in 3 cables here that go to one spotlight, another spotlight, and then a section of cable where the other spotlight's going to go. So that'll be the one for the shower cubicle. Fastened on the joists, they all run down, go through this hole in the joist, through this hole, and then they all meet up here. And then this is the piggyback cable from the other junction box, which is here. So that will tie all of the lights into the same circuit by doing that, basically. So that's going to be the job. We're going to add a junction box here that ties all these together, and then the next stage is the power and the switch, and then this lighting circuit will be done. Then I'll go back downstairs, turn the power on, test it, come up and hoover it, and hopefully have success. Right, so I've wired this junction box in. It's basically connecting these 3 spotlights over here with this junction box here, and then another junction box will be connected here. So I'm going to put this onto the joist, and I'm going to nail these clips into the cables so it's all neat and clean, and then I'll come back. Right, that's all wired in. So the 2 junction boxes are connected like so. These 3 lines go off to the spotlights. Now we've got 1 line here which feeds all 5 spotlights, and now we need to power and switch that, which is the next job. Once it's done, I'll test the power and switch it back on, and we'll see a bit more progress. Wired in the 4 terminal junction box here, so this is what's going to form the switching circuit. I've wired in the lights into the first port here, so obviously there 3 cables are wired in. I've now run the switching line, which is this one. So I've run that all the way from the bathroom downstairs up along the joist, and then I've connected it to these wires. So I'm going to run it along
here. I'll put cable ties once I'm done, just to make it a bit more neat. I'm going to join that to the junction box with the diagram that I found online, and then that leaves the last part, which is the power. Fingers crossed we got some success, because otherwise I've literally sat in a sauna on a beautiful summer's weekend for nothing. Right, I've just wired in the switch circuit. So basically I followed a diagram that I saw online for a ceiling rose. The assumption was that you're, wiring a ceiling rose from scratch, but this forms the same circuit as a ceiling rose. Essentially this would be the ceiling rose, but in my instance this is just going off to my 5 spotlights this way. But this circuit here is still the same as a ceiling rose would be. So you've got the switch line coming down there, and then you've got the one I've just added, which is for the ring main power, which is going to go off that way. So the next job is I need to run this one through a couple more joists, and then using another junction box, this time a 3 terminal junction box, I'm going to splice it back into the ring main, and that should complete the lighting circuit for the bathroom. So let's get the drill out, and I'm going to drill some holes through the joists, run this I think through about 2 more joists, get it a bit closer to away from this bathroom area, and we'll create like a new junction box area where we can add additional circuits in the future, because we're going to be adding fan on this circuit, a light for the mirror is going to be on this ring main. So I'll need to basically have a space where I can junction them off and then provide additional routes. So I'm going to do that now. I've done all the wiring for the spotlights. So I've run the switching line, which is this one. I've connected it to the ring main, which is this one. Cable tied it down, and I did turn on the power and hoover the room just now, but I haven't turned on the bathroom light yet. This is what 2 days work looks like. Obviously quite a lot of the job was removing the old insulation, hoovering it up, getting it ready to just be like a clean working environment. Down here we've got the main ring main coming in. I did cut it right initially because I wanted to run it through the joists. So it's cut, joined back together there, these two. Then I've tapped out of it for one, which is the lighting circuit we just did. Right, that's this one. And then this lower one is this. So this is just to allow me to add more junction boxes in the future. You see where that hole's coming up there? So that is where a copper pipe used to be. But right below us is the utility airing cupboard in the upstairs hall next to the bathroom. So the job for this coming week is going to be to mount on a board some isolation switches, and then just to run up the wires here through this hole, and have a kind of an area here below me in this square where my hand is, well, not on this, on these joists, where the junction boxes will basically meet. So obviously the idea is each new thing we're adding will have its isolation switch in that airing cupboard, and then it will come back up here and complete the circuits. Over in that far corner to the left of that red bin bag, you just see a piece of duct tape covered cable sticking up. That's the outside light. So I've basically run the cables all the way along the side of the joists here, all the way along, all the way along, all the way along, and it terminates there. When we buy the new outside light, I'll tap it in there. Above these bags at the end, which contain the clean insulation, I want to add, you see that joist that runs horizontally like that? I want to add a surface mount to gang, or whatever you would call it, socket, which the USB cameras will plug into. I'm going to take it downstairs and we will check it out. A moment of truth. Still got the headlight on, which you just got down the ladder. Has it been worth it? I'm quite nervous. More blood splats here, I've just noticed. definitely blood splatters. Not mine. I'm gonna do it. Wish me luck. Ah. Yes. Amazing. Spot on. You can imagine showering in now. Well, it really illuminates that nicely. I'm proud of myself. I did it. I completely rewired this room. Like literally, not a single wire remained. I redid all the switch wiring. They were overheating after a few minutes because there was too much insulation on them, plus they're 12 volt, non-LED, horrendous. So I disconnected all of them, took all the old wiring out. There was some isolation thing up there where I'm pointing, took that out. And I ran the cables through the joists here, ran the switch as well, yeah, so there was a pull switch. You can just see the remains of it up there. And I replaced that with the outside switch here, which we're going to use throughout the, going to use these throughout the house, I think. I quite like them. So does Daniela. They're nice, they're really nice quality. You can get them from Screwfix, B&Q, Tool Station, get them from everywhere. We're in the airing cupboard and I've made a couple holes, and the idea is to run these cables down. Now, these have just stuck up in the attic for now. I'm going to connect these to this board that I've created. So I made that last night. Basically, it's a piece of chipboard offcut that was part of the previous downstairs utility kitchen unit. I've mounted 6 surface mount single switch boxes in here, and I've drilled the centers out, and then I've stepped it by 2.5 centimeters using these, again, offcuts from, I think it's from the bathroom. So the idea is it will be mounted to the wall. Obviously the cables will come down through those holes, go in through these individual holes, switch, and then come back out again. So it's just a way to turn off the individual components that we'll be adding. I think it's a good thing to do, and I think it's an easy thing to do. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go up in the attic and we'll talk through it up there. I've basically taken the ring main line, gone into this junction box, split out 2 lines that come all the way down here, through this joist, down here and back through the joist. I've literally done that just so that I can keep them nice and obvious which is which. I couldn't hammer it from this side, so I just decided to go through the joist again. Why not drill some more holes in the joist? And then I've added another junction box here with just 1 line coming out of it at the moment, and this in future's got another 2 spare terminals that I can tap into if I need to. So we've got 3 powered lines going down through this hole to the airing cupboard, and these will marry up to those switches, and then we'll bring the lines back up here and distribute them off to the various places that we mentioned earlier. Shows me that I can do it myself. You know, if it took me 2 days, and what was the cost of materials? £100 in materials to do this whole room. So you can do it yourself, you know? Right, now I can do it again, and I'm confident to do it again. And I will do it again. I'll do the whole. Yeah, this is nice. Really nice illumination.